Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Residents in Zeehan are now starting to return to their homes following last night's evacuation order. It comes as fires still burn across the region. Reporter Lily Thompson joins us live now from Zeehan. Lily, what's the situation like this evening?
Well, it sure has been a terrifying 24 hours after an emergency warning was issued at around 6 p.m. last night, forcing residents from their home. Now, we know multiple fires are burning in the area and they have been for quite some time due to dry lightning strikes. Now, there has been a change in weather. It's been cooler with a drop in temperatures. There's also been some pretty consistent rain here today, and that's looking likely to continue throughout this evening. Now, an emergency warning has been lifted here for Zeehan. It's currently at a watch and act, with residents being able to now return home. I spoke to some of those people earlier who say the whole situation has the community extremely rattled. A terrifying look from inside the front line. Firefighters from Strawn traversing the fire ground, still ablaze after 2 weeks. For those outside in Zeehan, a warning late yesterday to leave or take shelter, bringing home the reality, but not more so than from the evening sky.
Certainly dark and ominous.
A red and smoky sky emphasising the threat across the west coast. The fire's now burning with a collective perimeter of around 1,200 kilometres. It's a big task that remains.
Whether that takes 100, 150 mil rain or our fire crews going metre by metre across the fire ground, it's just going to be a long, hard slog.
Conditions overnight did ease, relieving the threat for residents of Zeehan, today returning home after many enduring a sleepless night.
Whole town's ravelled. We're all a bit worried.
Yes, it was scary.
Some gathering supplies in case they are forced to leave again.
Mainly water, bottles of water, stocking up on meat. We couldn't get any deliveries in today because of the road closures.
With helicopters gathering water nearby, many full of praise for our firefighters on the ground.
They're doing a good job. Yeah, very good job, you know. We wouldn't be here if they weren't here.
But they aren't out of the woods yet. A monitor condition alert remains in place, with authorities urging residents to be aware of sudden changes.
These fires are very dynamic and we'll be warning people as needed, so we could escalate or de-escalate those warnings at a moment's notice.
Those changing conditions may bring rain, but not to the degree some might hope.
Look, broadly it's going to be more the 5 to 15 millimetres. Closer to the west coast we could see 10 to 20 millimetres.
More interstate firefighters are due to arrive on Monday. They'll be housed here at a makeshift village as they too join the battle.
We have that capacity to scale up straight away to 150 people. We're certainly ready to take on more at a moment's notice if required.
Now, there are still many alerts issued for parts of the west coast, including an emergency warning for Corinna and surrounds. There's also a watch and act for Rennes and Bell, with authorities saying that one's looking likely to be upgraded within the next hour or so. But as always with emergencies like this, those in affected areas and surrounds are being urged to monitor the Tas Alert app, even with the recent rain. As we know, conditions can change in the blink of an eye. Kim?
That is certainly so true. Thanks, Lily. And rain is definitely what we need. Now, Tasmanians in other parts of the state are being warned heavy smoke from those fires could remain visible for the next few days. Greater Launceston and the Midlands saw the worst of it today, with the air quality ranging from poor to very poor. People with medical conditions or those at higher risk from the effects of smoke have been urged to avoid unnecessary exposure. The latest list of smoke alerts can be found on the Tas Alert app or website. The state's nursing union is calling for a series of changes to how staff shortages are being handled after meeting with the Industrial Commission. The government and health bosses spending the morning touring a new ambulance station in Oatlands, standing by their recruitment efforts.
Giving Oatlands paramedics something to smile about. Government and health officials getting a glimpse of the town's state-of-the-art ambulance station.
It allows us to future-proof should communities grow, should demand grow.
The near $3 million facility soon to be operational, following 10 months of construction, with more to come throughout the state.
Between us and the subcontractors and various suppliers, about 50 people would have been involved. There would have been 7,000 hours put into this job.
We have 5 ambulance stations completed, another 8 underway or planned.
But across the wider health system, staff shortages remains a key concern. The Nurses and Midwives Union meeting with the Industrial Commission in their ongoing push for solutions.
The department provided feedback in relation to some work they'd done to try and discern exactly what the vacancies are.
Agreeing to vacancy numbers in 4 wards at the Launceston General Hospital, including its emergency department. The Commission recommending streamlining bulk recruitment to get more workers sooner.
Because our recruitment processes are worldwide, it's not as simple as, offer a job and 2 weeks later they start.
According to the union, some overseas hires are taking too long to start.
We're told that some of the international recruits potentially might not be here for another 6 months if indeed they do take up a position.
The department committing to seeing what more it can do.
We will do everything we can to speed up that recruitment process.
The ANMF will next meet with the Commission and health officials later next month. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Women who are at risk or experiencing homelessness will soon have a new safe space to stay in. Vinnie's Argyle Street development in Hobart will provide 38 studio homes for women over the age of 55.
The idea is to work with them, get them into education, give them new opportunities, help stabilise their lives.
The federal government-funded project has been years in the making, with council approvals and red tape causing several delays.
When we're investing money in housing, we need to see those homes delivered as quickly as possible.
The project is set to be finished within 18 months. The Premier insists the government is already making headway on many of the priorities suggested by Tasmania's Peak Business Group to improve the state's economy. The Tasmanian Chamber of Commerce and Industry is calling for more to be done to improve renewable energy generation, education outcomes and the state's budget.
Whether it'll be teachers in our schools, nurses in our hospitals, key infrastructure upgrades, we need to keep investing, but also mindful of sensible budget management.
The Chamber says the state is at a crossroads with decisions being made now crucial for our future. An iconic piece of Australia's maritime history is sinking in the Huon River. The century-old MV Cartella took on water overnight. The trust looking after the vessel is calling on the state government to act immediately to ensure it's saved before it's too late.
More than 100 years of history resting on the top of the Huon River.
Gracious lady, half drowned, which is... you can't replace things like that.
Tasmania's last steamship, the MV Cartella, taking on water overnight, causing the vessel to sink at her berth in Franklin.
It's come as a bit of a shock.
Her caretakers believe a failure of the onboard warning system is to blame.
It is puzzling that the alarm system didn't go off and that the pumps weren't working.
The historic boat, an iconic part of Tasmania's maritime heritage. Built in 1912, she worked as a former passenger vessel along the River Derwent.
She also she was taken over by the Royal Australian Navy in World War I and patrolled up and down, keeping our waters safe.
The 111-year-old boat has been awaiting extensive repairs since she left service a decade ago. The state government allocating $1 million grant in 2023 to continue the ship's restoration, but funding hasn't flowed in steadily.
We've received about $110,000.
That's only part of an estimated $5 million needed to make it fully operational again. But the state government says it hasn't all been smooth sailing.
There's been some challenges around planning and some council approvals, which hopefully we will work through a lot quicker now, given the situation.
Well, it's not the Titanic, but, it should be. It should be respected that way.
It'll be so good to have the Cartella back to see her cruising the river.
While the ordeal is another setback in her restoration journey, there's hope she'll return to her former glory. Rebecca Gadineris at 7 Tasmania News.
A parliamentary inquiry has heard issues and challenges surrounding bullying and discrimination in Tasmanian schools. Conduct in the state's Catholic schools under the microscope. Leaders telling today's hearing those in same-sex marriages or de facto relationships would be precluded from applying for senior positions, but those in heterosexual relationships wouldn't.
And it was publicly known that the life they were living was outside of Catholic moral precepts, we would not be able to employ them as a senior leader.
The committee will hand down its findings in due course. Local businesses are cashing in on love as Tasmanians spend up big for Valentine's Day. From florists to restaurants, there's been a mad dash to fill orders, with some traders nearing a record-breaking year.
Roses are red and business is blooming.
Valentine's Day's been extraordinarily busy. Roses are just so good this year. I have to say they are superb.
160 dozen roses flying out the door, the roaring trade shaping up to be a record breaker.
In the last 26 years, this could potentially be our busiest.
Restaurants also shaking things up, playing Cupid for a night of romance.
Valentine's here has been booked out for probably at least 3 or 4 weeks. It is going to be a crazy night tonight.
Serving up a special menu made with love.
We do have some desserts and cocktails, so we've sort of got some naughty nutty martinis, we've got some rose sour cocktails, and then we've got some luscious lips desserts as well. So we've got a few things going on for Valentine's.
Valentine's Day isn't just for humans, it's the perfect chance to celebrate the unconditional love from our pets and the endless snuggles they bring into our lives. Just keep them away from the chocolate. Victoria Eastove, 7 Tasmania News.
Pint-sized rev heads will roll into the National Automobile Museum of Tasmania for the annual Cars for Kids event next month. Now in its 20th year, it aims to give disadvantaged children and those living with a disability a little taste behind the wheel in hot rods, muscle cars and everything in between.
With everything from Rolls Royces, Ferraris, all sorts of cars, so it's good.
Some of the most amazing cars here. I tell you, there is no greater feeling in this world than seeing kids with smiles on their faces.
Organisers say it's the camaraderie that keeps driving kids back. It's on March 2.
He helped put the Jack Jumpers on the map and led the charge to defend the island, but now he's calling time on a remarkable NBL career. Inaugural captain Clint Steindl is stepping away from the game, retiring from professional basketball. A 3-time championship player, 356 NBL games under his belt, Clint Steindl retires a hero.
Tough to find a better group, a better organisation, a better community to finish it around.
After stints in Cairns, Townsville and Perth, the sharpshooter was headhunted to help start the Jack Jumpers franchise, a signing which sparked the magic.
And I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else, and he was my #1 target, bringing him in to help me defend the island.
The club's first and only captain, leaving a lasting impact, leading the Jackies to a maiden title last year and changing basketball in Tasmania forever.
Something special being built here. I'm glad I was able to play my part within that.
An emotional Scott Roth paying tribute to the much-loved leader.
Exemplifies everything that is a professional basketball player in my eyes. A family man, a humble human being, a leader.
His legacy off the court just as strong as his performances on it.
It's a sad day for all of us, not just the team but the front office and everyone involved in this club. But we're all better off for having worked with Clint.
Steindl will stay involved in the game, just not as a head coach, but for now it's time for his home court.
From now on, that's going to be my home court, is the driveway in the backyard and spending with the kids.
It was a bittersweet victory for the Tassie Tigers in the one-day domestic cup, despite winning their match against Victoria by 5 wickets. It wasn't quite enough to clinch a bonus point, narrowly missing out on finals. Despite that, Caleb Jewell managed to reach century.
Caleb Jewell on 95. And there is a 6 to bring up your century. Wow!
Mitch Owen making more fireworks following his BBL finals performance, hitting 48 of just 19 balls. It's shaping up to be a big year for Launceston young gun Lockie Dalton, having secured a wild card for the Supercars Championship. The Super 2 driver says he's keen for another crack at the main game, kicking things off in Perth before teaming up with teenager Rylan Gray for the Enduro season. And Tasmania's Madison Brooks has been named in the Hockeyroos side for the upcoming Pro League in Argentina. She's among 14 players retained from the Sydney leg, where the Aussies won 3 from 4 matches against Spain and China. The Hockeyroos take on Argentina and Belgium in the next stage. And that's all in Friday Night Sport, Kim.
OK, thanks, Victoria. Peter Murphy will join us after the break with the weekend weather forecast.
Good evening, hope you've had a good Friday. Hobart, the state's warmest place today with 27 degrees, Launceston and Devonport 23 and Burnie 24. St Helens and Friendly Beaches reached 26, Flinders Island and Grove 23, Smithton and Lowhead 22, King Island 21 and Strawn 19. We did have scattered cloud replace the front today. Rainfall overnight saw just 16 millimetres fall at Pine Tree Rivulet, while today the best was just 4 millimetres at Strathgordon, so not much in that system that went through overnight. The cloud with the front off to our east, the cloud extends through inland areas of the nation as well. Plenty of cloud too over the tropics and the Pilbara with the tropical cyclone. Tomorrow the high moves right over the Bight as a low forms to our east. A trough extends over the mainland and TC Zelia crosses over into WA. Westerly winds tomorrow at 15 to 25 knots, increasing from the southwest to 35 knots during the day. We have a gale warning for waters from Flinders Island to Wineglass Bay, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters, and a bushwalkers alert for the Western and Central Plateau due to snow flurries expected. Hobart 15 for Saturday with showers increasing, 90% chance of rain for Medina as well, 14 the high for Oatlands. Launceston tomorrow a high of 18 degrees with showers, possible shower for Devonport 18 the top as well, 2 overnight for Lyowini, a top of just 9 tomorrow. Burnie expecting 17, a windy day, cloudy, becoming windy also for Strawn, a few showers in the air, 16 the top and 17 for Marrawar, while for St Helens tomorrow a high of 17 with showers increasing, wet weather for Swansea 17 the top and 16 for Orford. On Sunday a few scattered showers but mostly fine over the north and northeast of the state, partly cloudy day on Monday, however more rain expected over the west, and on Tuesday showers at first easing from the north and east in the afternoon. Sunny and 35 tomorrow in Perth, a windy showery day in Melbourne, a possible shower forecast for Sydney, 29 and a shower or 2 for Brisbane. It's cloudy and 14 degrees in Hobart, partly cloudy in Launceston, 20 right now and 19 degrees in Devonport. That's our weather for Valentine's Day. You know, I don't know much about Valentine's Day. You know, why do we really celebrate that? Does nothing for me, Kim. But however, this time next month I'll be getting set to celebrate probably one of the best days of the year, St Patrick's Day. I'm so excited about that. I'm going to start practicing for it now.
Good idea. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Murph. That is all your news for now. We'll have updates later. Thanks for your company. Good night.